hottest ticket in the Southeast. A sellout crowd filling the Smith Center at Chapel Hill. In the ACC today, Georgia Tech has defeated Florida State, and the winner of this game will tie the Jackets for the top spot in the conference standings as number 9 Wake Forest goes head-to-head with number 11 North Carolina at the Smith Center here in Chapel Hill. A very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Rathman. My partner is Bucky Waters, and welcome to what should be a whale of a game. Last year, Bucky, these two clubs gave us 3 great games. We expect another one here today.
Actually, they exchanged road wins, which is very difficult to do in this league, but these are good road teams. And as we know, good defense prevents or really creates that. But that third game in the tournament, the rubber game, was outstanding. Wake has won 3 of the last 5, and the 2 losses have been in overtime and by 1. So we can expect just that kind of game.
Let's talk about our game plan for today's matchup as the Tar Heels and Deacs go at it one more time. And you mentioned, Bucky, the fact that these two clubs play great defense. They're right at the top of the heap in the conference.
Well, their defense is half court. That's where it's at. Both of these teams play terrific half-court defense. They're holding opponents under 40%. That means 6 of 10 shots both ways are going to be passes off the glass to somebody. Now, what happens to those 6 misses? Either their stickbacks or their transition. That, in my opinion, is going to determine the game. I don't think either team is going to do well against the other's half-court defense. So how do you get easy baskets, and how do you prevent that second shot? That's the question.
Well, one way to get an easy basket is certainly on the offensive glass, and a great young phenom, Antawn Jamison. He has been terrific, Bucky.
He is precocious, really doesn't do him justice. The man can sky, he's got strength, and he's absolutely fearless. 20 rebounds in a game at Virginia. I can't believe it. But we may see that kind of a performance today because he rises to the occasion. Incredible.
Mr. Jamison and the rest of the Inside Warriors are getting set for battle. And, of course, for Wake Forest, it's Tim Duncan. We'll talk about Timmy when we come back.
This is Bob. Bob is a nationwide insurance agent. He'll go out of his way to meet you at your home or office, early or late. He'll go out of his way to get you answers or get you your claims check. He'll go out of his way to save you money. And sometimes, Bob, he'll just go out of his way.
Nationwide is on your side.
What do you think our chances are? You think we're going to get it?
Unusually heavy traffic heading into town.
Good morning. You ready for this?
We are waiting on the announcement on who...
It was the first city in the South to even try.
30 or 40,000.
I want to thank everybody for the hard work they've done.
The first American city of its size to win them in nearly 100 years.
Okay, here we go.
In anticipation to find out just who...
We're going to make the announcement now. The International Olympic Committee has awarded the 1996 Olympic Games
The first city anywhere in the world to win them on its very first attempt.
to the city of Atlanta.
As the first partner for the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, the Nations Bank is proud to have played a part in this historic event. Let the games be great.
Hi, I'm Dixie Carter, and this little house I just bought on the Tennessee River is my idea of a fixer-upper. And I'd like to invite you in on the renovation to see what one strong-willed woman can do with one old dependable friend, the Bell South Yellow Pages. And just look at all the stuff I'm gonna need. Well, I'll catch up with you once I find the right contractor. Yes, hello. I saw your ad in the Bell South Yellow Pages.
At the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, we're getting set for the Demon Deacons and the Tar Heels. Welcome back, everybody. When you talk about these two ball clubs, and particularly Wake Forest, you have to talk about what to do about Tim Duncan. Some clubs have opted to play him straight up. Others have chosen to double and triple team. Bucky, whatever you choose, it better be successful.
Easier said than done, but you have to do him with a definitive plan. Here's a guy that averaged against Carolina 20 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 rejects. They've tried a lot of things. When you double down on him, you have to remember he's a great passer. There's the diagonal pass to Tony Rutland. That's just one of the ways he kills you. Now, Clemson tried something else. They played him one-on-one, and they were physically strong enough to force the big fella out from his normal habitat, which gave him some problems, and a Clemson win, the only ACC win over the Deacons. That's an option, but as I said, both are theories. In practice, very difficult to execute.
And Carolina is a difficult team to defend as well. Not only their great guard play of Jeff McGinnis and Dante Calabria, but we talked about Antoine Jamison and his ability to get on the backboard. First, Bucky, the guard play, and Jeff McGinnis is truly outstanding.
Whatever defense that Wake Forest plays, they can look for this play right here. Jeff McGinnis abusing point guards, getting the ball into the paint where he can score or dish. Over 6 assists a game, plus 15 points. The guy's murder in there, and that's got to be contended with. You've got to keep him out of the paint. And, of course, offensive boards, the big part of the game plan. There's Carter missing on the rim, and there is number 33, Antoine Jamison, who takes passes off the glass and absolutely knows what to do with them. Had 20 boards against Virginia, and no one ever can remember anybody but a guy like Ralph Sampson, and he played for Virginia doing that in Charlottesville.
When we come back, we'll meet the lineups right after this from Budweiser.
Team in the NBA, taking it downtown, crashing the boards. With DirecTV's NBA Team Pass, at least I can follow any team. Or I can give it the full court press, NBA League Pass. Every team, the Magic, Knicks, Rockets, Suns, up to 30 great matchups every week. Yeah, I could be out there with those guys. Really, I could. You won't find the NBA like this on cable, so call 1-800-DIRECTV.
January's
Jammin'. Jammin'. Me.
Jammin'.
Only at Toyota. Lease Camry now, $199 a month. $199 a month, loaded with features. Automatic transmission, air conditioning, and more. $199 a month. Wow.
You can save with option discounts and factory incentives up to $900.
January's Jammin'.
Jammin'.
Big deals and savings. January's Jammin' only at Toyota.
Don't miss it, Poppy. Don't miss it.
All these people spend a small part of their day at a BP station. We make it easy to breeze in, get what you need, and be gone. Because even though we're BP, we understand that the best part of life is not when you're stopped at a gas station. BP, we keep you moving.
North Carolina lost only one home game last year. That was to Wake Forest. And the Carolina faithful come to the Smith Center hoping for a payback as the Deacons and the Tar Heels match identical 5-1 ACC records. Welcome back to the Smith Center, everybody. I'm Bob Rathman with Bucky Waters. And when the big boys come to play for first in this conference, Bucky, the entire basketball nation takes notice.
Well, it's a national game, but I guarantee you, to these teams today, it's more important. It's Big Four. And it really is creme de la creme. These are two powerhouses. They do it different ways, but they do it so well, and they've been doing it a long time.
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. And for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Jerry Braswell back in the starting lineup. He came through with 19 points on Wednesday against Virginia, and he gives Dave Odom some good on-the-ball pressure defensively.
And that's going to be important against the guards. Also, he started last year as a freshman, and with Wake trying to run, it gives him more speed.
The Tar Heels line up this way. And And North Carolina's center, Serge Zwicker, certainly will be a man we'll be focusing on. A lot of pressure going against Duncan.
Well, he can't do it by himself. He sat on the bench last year and watched Duncan go for 25 in here and hold Rasheed Wallace to 4. He's going to need lots of help.
And the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hall of Famer Dean Smith. We'll be back for the opening tip-off. The Deacons and the Tar Heels straight ahead.
ACC Basketball is brought to you by Nations Bank, by Food Lion, by Pepsi, by Ford, by Bell Stout, and by Budweiser. Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in the world for 19 straight years. Now we're about to launch the next in line. The all-new 1997 Ford F-150. More power, more V8 payload, more new ideas. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Here in the South, we have a tradition of service you won't find anywhere else. And at Bell South, we're helping businesses serve their customers more effectively every day. With more advanced technology than ever before. Business is growing faster here than in any other part of the country. It's easy to see why. Bell South, it's all here.
If you've been watching ACC basketball for the past 12 years, maybe you remember some of these scenes. Sometimes I wonder how they talked me into doing that. Making these commercials has been a fun way of telling you about Food Lion, our commitment to extra low prices, guaranteed freshness, and top quality products. So visit the Food Lion soon. Chances are in just 1 week, you'll save enough money to buy, perhaps, an ACC ticket.
Excuse me, sir, I think you're in my seat.
Maybe not.
Food Lion, extra low prices and more.
North Carolina and Wake Forest getting set to tip it off. The Tar Heels dominating all time. But Wake has won 4 of the last 8, including 3 of the last 5 against the Tar Heels. And Wake Forest is the reigning ACC champion. Wake Forest comes in 13-2 overall. The Tar Heels 14-4. The Deacons off to their best start in the ACC since '77. And this North Carolina outfit has played remarkably well with Zwicker in the middle and the freshman contributions from Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson. And Jeff McGinnis, the man who runs the show at the point for head coach Dean Smith. The Deacons getting set to come out of the floor here. Won here last year, 79-70. That man, Tim Duncan, had a huge game for Dave Odom. In fact, that was the first time that Wake had tasted success in the Smith Center in 10 tries. Frank Scagliata, Rick Hartzell, and Steve Gordon, the officials today. And Mr. Hartzell moves to center court to toss it up between Duncan and Jameson. And we are ready for basketball in the much-anticipated Carolina-Wake Forest matchup. Happy to have you with us, wherever you may be today. Opening tip goes to the Tar Heels.
Great matchup there. Braswell on McGinnis.
Carter guarded by Perrault. Calabria short with the 3. And the Deeks inside with the rebound. And Perrault clears it. Here's Braswell on the wing.
Look for the Deacons to push it up today. We're talking about transition. We're trying to get easier points. And they're trying to beat that set defense of Carolina down the floor.
Great steal by Carter. He's fouled by Duncan. And of the 5 precious fouls that Tim Duncan has allowed, that's one you don't want to waste.
Well, he hasn't fouled out this year, and over a career only 5 times. But your center, you want his fouls to be, well, to have bruises. You don't want little nudges and hips. You really want them to be with authority, so people coming through that lane are looking for that next one.
McGinnis bobs into Zwicker. Too long against Duncan, but there is Carter to follow.
Carter just muscled Perrault on that one.
That opens the scoring. comes across from the baseline. Now the kick out to the open Braswell, and Jerry misses the three.
Interesting. I just thought the big fella should have taken that one one-on-one.
And the foul on Braswell on McGinnis's penetration.
McGinnis is fearless. This is where he wants to be. He can score. Oh, nearly a clean strip there. Braswell will fight him. Braswell's strong. LaRue very quickly in a six-man role that last year he was very good at. But quickly, Braswell getting an earful from Dave Odom. One of the few times you'll see him get in a player's face. He's upset, and it has to be defensively for not containing McGinnis.
Jeff, 8th in the conference, has really improved at the foul line. Nails a couple here, and the Tar Heels lead it 4-0. Wake has had some slow starts. We remember the game at Duke a couple of weeks back when Wake Forest went scoreless for 6.5 minutes.
Carolina changing up now in the matchup zone.
Quickly inside to Sean Allen. Not much of an offensive threat, but this kid sure is. Rutland in and out with the three. Allen off McGinnis. Wake Forest ball. 4-0 Tar Heels.
So far the Deacons not a presence on the offensive board. Duncan's got to be assertive in this game.
Allen, Rutland, they work the perimeter. LaRue with a long three. Got it, and the Deacs are on the board.
McGinnis Rutland's a tough matchup for Wake Forest. McGinnis too strong.
And Carter trying to put a move on Parole. Takes the extra step.
The quick substitution, taking Braswell out, will negate a bit the ability to contain McGinnis. Dave Odom's still down there talking to him, and he's not a happy camper.
Both clubs would, I'm sorry, Bucky.
Rutland will have difficulty with McGinnis at the defensive end.
Both clubs with great bounce-back wins earlier this week. LaRue trying for 2 in a row. The Tar Heels, after that 20-point blowout to Villanova, beat Florida State on the road. The runner by Jamison, no good. And Carter's able to save it. Calabria up and off. Tip, no, by Jamison. And that's the point you were making. He is so quick off his feet, Jamison.
Serious ups and has that extra sensory perception to know where it's going to come off.
Allen in the land of the Giants draws the personal. One thing that we've noticed about the Carolina defense, because they play only 7, Dean's playing so much more zone, they allow teams to shoot some open threes. Wake Forest seems to be a ball club that can hit those open threes. We're seeing LaRue and Rutland step up.
Well, one of the problems with the zone, and as successful as Carolina has been, it really isn't a great defense, and it's not their best defense. They're playing it out of necessity for those reasons that you've alluded to. Depth, serious depth problems, especially in the front court. But checkoffs, getting good body position on the defensive board is much more difficult in the zone than man for man. But because they're forcing threes, the rebounds are coming out further, which is helping the big guards, McGinnis and Calabria, to be better rebounders.
Here's the three-point story to date. These teams rate 1 and 2 in the conference in three-point percentage. Calabria has missed 3 in a row to start the game, and Duncan rebounds.
I think the Deacons need to find Duncan at the other end. They're pushing the ball up the floor.
That one blocked by Zwicker.
When you're pushing the ball up the floor, you can't forget about your big man. Duncan, only 1 touch so far in almost 4 minutes.
McGinnis short on his run. Rutland trying to get something going in transition, but the Carolina defense gets back.
Yeah, but it's taking its tolls. Wicker's really being forced to hustle back because Duncan can motor. He has got to run baseline to baseline, and I'm not sure he's had to do that this year.
Now Timmy on the baseline, and Zwicker fouled him. Dean Smith off the Carolina bench hollering for travel. But Steve Gordon says that was a foul first.
Let's see. Close. It was close. Wicker's got to protect that baseline.
Can't do it with the arm. You got to do it with the feet.
Well, there's obvious mismatch there in foot quickness. And Wake Forest has got to find Duncan and go after it.
And Rutland buries a three. 44% three-point shooter. The Deacons lead at 6-4.
The Deacons have great balance, no question about that. But they're so much better at everything when the big fella handles the ball.
McGinnis takes Rutland inside. Off balance, scores. Had the contact, and now he has scored 4 points.
McGinnis is not a point guard, he's a power guard. He just beats up the defense. Always has good control right at the end. Doesn't win many beauty contests with that release, but he gets it on the board soft or he gets it in.
And a blocking foul inside on Calabria. That will be the second personal on Dante.
Dean Smith, second time giving Steve Gordon the eagle eye. Penetration, good call. Calabria moving, still moving on the penetration. When the Rue left the floor, that space was partially open. He's entitled to a place to land. The only guy that doesn't qualify under that rule in this building today is Jamison. He'll just kind of pull his wheels up and find someplace else.
Rusty LaRue has missed only 2 foul shots all season, 91% at the line, and wife Tammy still expecting son on the way at any time.
And his name shall be Riley.
Yeah, they asked Rusty, why'd you pick that name? He thought it would sound good on the public address system.
Well, you know, his wife Tammy was a very fine athlete in her own right, so good chance the genes there will make that PA announcement quite likely.
Calabria finds the bottom of the bucket. A three-pointer to put Carolina on top by 2. Now Parole outside. Went along with that three-pointer. And Calabria, one of the great rebounding guards in the country.
Well, forcing those long shots gives those big guards lots of room to operate.
Okalaji in there, outside the McGinnis. Jeff penetrates again. The dump off, this time off Jamison and out of bounds. And we've got a timeout here in Chapel Hill. Just what we thought. 14:21 left in the first half and a tough, tight one. Now this from Budweiser.
Bud.
Why?
Bud.
Why?
Bud.
Why?
Bud.
Why?
There are 173 sports in the entire world, and each has its own special outfit. Moisture-managing softball pants, hydrophobic football jerseys, running shorts with storm flaps. What's gonna get in there? I don't know. What you need is this. Discus Athletic. One brand for every single sport. Shaq, 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 Shaq-a-Rooney, Shaq, 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 oh, Shaq. Imagine that, one brand for 173 different sports. Discus Athletic, one thing to wear. Wear it. Well, maybe only 172.
In communities throughout our nation, athletes are working to turn their many years of dedication into a few precious moments. Triumph, which is why Nations Bank, as the first centennial partner of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, is joining with the U.S. Olympic team to give our hometown hopefuls a chance to be there as the torch comes to Atlanta. And an opportunity for their efforts to light up the world.
The Tar Heels lead it by 2. Both ball clubs right at the top of the ACC in all the top defensive statistics. field goal percentage, points, etc. And Wake Forest is on pace to set the all-time ACC record for field goal percentage defense, and the Tar Heels are right behind. And given that, you would expect low shooting percentages. In Bucky Waters, that's just what we have. Wake is 2 out of 8, and North Carolina is 3 out of 10.
Specifically, Wake has had 9 possessions, and the big fella's only had 2 touches. Out of the timeout, the usual change in defense, the half-court trap.
And Ricky Pearl floats in a 3. 56% from three-point range for Pearl. That leads the conference.
But he went in a funk over the last several games, snapping out of it against Virginia.
And McGinnis throws it into the Wake bench.
Braswell back in the game. He's out of the doghouse, and Jeff McGinnis is not going to be pleased with that, because Jerry Braswell is a lot stronger and a lot quicker defensively.
Rutland in for LaRue. 10-9, the Deacons on top. Trying to post back-to-back wins of Chapel Hill for the first time since 81-82. Long 3 for Braswell. Zwicker did a great job of blocking out Duncan that time. Quick 3, Calabria. Long board for Rutland.
Deacons still looking to run. And that really helps their whole offensive package.
Allen. Pearl had it for an instant. Jamison saves it.
Wake Forest not a presence at all on that offensive board. One and done.
McGinnis for 3. Too long. Pearl fighting for it, and a foul on Jamison. That is the 4th team foul on North Carolina with 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Shamon Williams, the sophomore from Greenville, South Carolina, is in, and Jeff McGinnis is going to get a breather. Shamon, one of the more underrated guards in the ACC, averaging 8 points a game off the bench. He's hit some big shots for the Tar Heels.
Well, Wake's #1 in the league in free throws, and Carolina's down at the bottom. In order to take advantage of that dimension in this game, Wake is going to have to get in that lane and put some pressure on and get to the foul line.
Braswell for 3. Duncan, one of the few offensive follows for Tim, and he puts it home.
Zwicker's body on him, and there is a factor at 7'2", and the big fella really works at position. The key will be whether or not the Deacons can get out and run and create a little space for Duncan to use his superior agility.
Okalaji across to Calabria. Dante driving, dishing right into the hands of Braswell. 2-on-1. Jerry to the bucket. Boy, the presence of Tim Duncan that time created that turnover.
That's called an altered shot. Fear.
Carolina's guards are not used to being shut off at the pass like that. Now a foul inside, and it's going to go against, let's see, it's going to go against Sean Allen of Wake Forest.
Jamison really posted up underneath. Gets great position for a rookie. All he needs is 25 pounds.
11:50 left in the first half. 14-9 Deeks.
Ford introduces the all-new Taurus. For those who want to have it all and take it all with them. For those who have an eye for design and a passion for performance. And for those who want the latest in safety, including standard dual airbags and available anti-lock brakes, the all-new Ford Taurus wagon. For those whose dreams are a little bigger.
Making the dream come true. Oh, this little song to sing.
Good song. Great song.
You can make mountains ring. Oh, maybe. let the other one ride. There's so many changes, tears you must hide. Did you ever have to finally decide?
An ACC matchup for first place. The Deacs and Tar Heels on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. Bob Rathman, Bucky Waters, and our ACC crew from Chapel Hill, where the Deacons have carved out a 5-point lead at 14-9. Tony Rutland has hit 1-3 so far today, and you see the Deacs are 3 of 11. The Tar Heel guards, Bucky, are struggling. We'll talk about it here as Carolina inbounds. McGinnis is 1 of 3 so far. Calabria 1 of 5. They have to find a way to solve the Deacon defense.
Wake Forest man-for-man is extended. They do as good a job as anybody in the country at defending the perimeter player. But it's a little easier when you have a big eraser back there. But they do work at it, and it's consistent. The little spurt by Wake Forest over the last 5 possessions included 3 touches by Duncan, an offensive rebound, and 2 swing passes. So they're going to the franchise.
Zwicker, air ball. Jamison battling Allen, and Jamison last to touch. Boy, it's a war out there, Buck.
We said at the top, for every 10 shots, there are going to be at least 6 passes to somebody off the glass, because these half-court defenses are so good, and the battle for those 6 misses is awesome. Man for man, Tar Heels, a 1-4 set by the Deacons.
Goolsby in the game at guard for the Deacs. Here's Rutland, and that's a hand check on Williams.
Boy, when the Tar Heels go man, I think the Deacons really got to look for Duncan, because that's a mismatch. Zwicker just not capable of handling him. Few are. He embarrassed Rasheed Wallace in here.
Well, with Zwicker out of the lineup now, Bucky, the attention even more falls on the Carolina defense, and can the Deacons exploit it inside?
Well, I think they'll probably go zone. They may extend and do a little pressing. With this small unit, the Tar Heels are very quick.
Zone it is. LaRue takes a look at the defense. Now sets it up. Inside, great feed to Allen for the dunk, and a foul on Jamison. What a great feed.
Well, folks who have maligned Serge Zwicker, that's what he doesn't let happen when he's in the game. Watch his great diagonal pass. As I said at the top, Carolina doesn't play a good zone. It's a necessity zone. And that one, without the big fella in there, spread arm to arm across the lane, is fraught with holes. Great passing that time by the Deacons.
Young man from Raleigh, Sean Allen, who grew up a Tar Heel fan, has blown 3 free throws for the Deacons here in the first half. And Wake still leads it by 7. Tar Heel fans a little on the pensive side. A ball club that averages 80 points a game has scored 9 in the first 9 minutes. Shammond Williams faking, driving, shut off, and another Tar Heel turnover.
You go for that Deacon basket, and there's 21. It's a huge roadblock. What you got to be able to do is pull up and hit an 8-foot shot. Don't think about going to the square. It's very crowded in there.
Carolina's 3 for 14 from the field, and they've turned it over 5 times. Talk about tough defense. Poke away by Okalaja, but LaRue's got it. The shot clock continues to run at 10.
Duncan's got to come to meet those passes, especially with the smaller, quicker team.
LaRue out to Allen. Sean going baseline. The shot is short, and it's out of bounds to Carolina.
To say it's physical under there.
10-minute mark of the first half. Calabria goes to the scorer's table to check in.
LaRue on McGinnis, and they're clearing out the top of the key. Too much quickness for LaRue.
Carter offline with the 3. Rutland corrals it.
Dave Odom using a lot of players in the first half. This is an advantage the Deacons have. Considerably more depth, especially since they're pushing the ball up the floor. They hope it'll take its toll, making the Tar Heels run baseline to baseline.
Into Duncan, gets it back, puts it in.
Serge Zwicker, we miss you.
And he gets up and goes to check in.
Those things just don't happen with the tree in there. He may not be a Flying Dutchman, but he is a presence.
18-9 Deacons. Ooh, here's steal by Rutland. He's still got a hand up. And a travel on Shamon Williams. Great defense out front by the Deeks. Now Zwicker and Calabria return. 18-9 as the Tar Heels shooting poorly and the turnovers starting to pile up.
With all of these turnovers and with the superb defense at this point by Wake Forest, I'm sure Dave Odom would like to be getting more points off the transitions. 6 players have scored, however, for the Deacons.
There's a batted deflected ball. Allen McGinnis, who's got it? Zwicker. Now the Tar Heels trying to make them pay for the mistake. Zwicker kicks it out to Calabria.
Notice that Wake Forest does not come off their man when Zwicker handles the ball. They're dependent on Duncan to take care of that problem by himself. They're staying at home.
And a travel on Zwicker as he tried to get position against Duncan. Dean Smith trying to find a combination that's going to click. Now inserts Antoine Jamison back into the ball game, and Vince Carter will go out.
What hurts on those turnovers for the Tar Heels is it doesn't give Antoine Jamison and those other fine jumping jacks in there a chance to field the offensive rebound. The key is what happens after the shot today. Both ways. There's going to be a lot of missed shots.
LaRue to Rutland, and McGinnis right up on it. Inside Duncan, a ways away from the bucket, takes the shot, misses it. Antonio Jackson had it stripped, and Zwicker's got it.
I think it's safe to say, Bob, that they're letting them play.
Carolina hasn't had a field goal, or a point for that matter, since the 15-minute mark. The clock shows 7:47 in the first half. And a foul inside against the Deeks.
LaRue had great defense on the ball that time, but when Calabria tried to cut through the lane to set up on the baseline, he held them. Good call.
Part hand-to-hand combat, part chess match. Carolina trailing by 9. We'll be back after this from Budweiser.
Systems in the world, with more people using more advanced features than ever before. So if life seems a little easier here in the South, it's not by accident. It's because we work at it. Bell South, it's all here.
January's jammin'.
Jammin'?
Jammin', man. Lease Tacoma, $159 a month. $159 a month?
Tacoma.
Like I said,
January's jamming.
And see the totally redesigned 4Runner with dual airbags, more power, and space. Lots more. See it now. It's the 4Runner of the future.
Big savings.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Toyota's newest vehicle, the RAV4, is coming soon. Check it out.
How was that?
Hurry.
ACC basketball brought to you in part by Toyota. With Bucky Waters, this is Bob Rathman from the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, and the Tar Heel fans making some noise. Tim Duncan, meanwhile, inside Bucky. When he gets his hands on it, that close to the ball, he's almost unstoppable.
Well, when he gets it, a white picket fence immediately emerges around him with North Carolina on their chest. Actually, he brought that ball down that time, which shows that he's getting a little body heat in there. He's normally much quicker up to the rim and keeps the ball high. It's just intense in there.
Okalaja missing a 3 and LaRue the rebound. The Tar Heels are now 3 of 16 from the floor. Perrault inside to Duncan. Soft touch.
There's the beauty of Wake with a transition game. Tim Duncan runs better than 99% of the centers in the country, and he will put great pressure on Zwicker just to get down the floor to cover him.
Jamison shot over Jackson.
One of the few good looks the Heels have had. This has been a defensive clinic so far by the Deacons.
Jamison leads the ACC in field goal percentage, 63%. And the Tar Heels, it took him 13 minutes to hit double figures. And there's LaRue decking Calabria. Second foul on Rusty.
Dante, you're a big, tough kid. What's this? And the Emmy, Dante Calabria. Hey, that's being a senior. That's being a smart player.
Jamison. Nothing doing that time against Jackson. McGinnis starts to penetrate, and the runner is no good. LaRue, open three from the corner, bang! That's a two-pointer, they say. Rusty now with 6. Zwicker, hook shot.
Boy, there's lots of bumping going on out there. Good smooth move that time by the big fella.
Under 6 to play in the first half. Duncan measures, goes baseline, spins up and in. Absolute clinic on low post play.
Oh my. That's great talent, great discipline. And Wake does a good job with their spacing so that you've either got to commit to him or he'll make a pass. That time the spacing gave him just enough room to put a Class A move on.
Out of bounds to Wake Forest.
There it is, little spin move. That time Zwicker takes the baseline expecting the Heels to help him from the top. It came too little, too late. Smooth, devastating. What a touch.
8 North Carolina turnovers, coupled with a horrendous shooting first half. 5 of 19. And the Deacons with a double-digit lead.
Carolina really trying to play man for man out of that matchup.
Duncan, jump shot. Last to touch was McGinnis. Carolina ball. Excuse me, Wake Forest basketball.
Wake Forest doesn't need Tim Duncan in the corner shooting jump shots. There are plenty of better jump shooters out there. He needs to get in there where the Tar Heels really don't have an answer for him.
A hush over the sellout crowd at the Smith Center.
Boy, it's you look up at the stands, it's like a mural. There's no motion. A bit of shock right here.
Braswell fakes, drives, kicks to Allen. Shot clock at 7. Rutland aware of the shot clock. And out of bounds to the Tar Heels.
Looked like the Deacons got a little too tentative that time, a little too clock conscious. They looked a lot better when they were decisive.
Okalaja now to McGinnis. Jeff moves in. Fade away. Hit it. Nice shot.
Boy, he had his tonsils checked, too. Braswell's as good a match as this league can provide for him defensively at the point. McGinnis just too strong.
6 for Jeff McGinnis. 24-15. And Calabria got the steal, and Rutland gets the foul. Great anticipation by Dante Calabria. 3:49 remaining in our first half. Check the steal by Dante. We'll be back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts.
First day my new boss throws me the keys.
Get it fixed, kid.
So I took it to Charlie. Guy's a real pro.
Let's get the parts.
Charlie says to be the best, you gotta use the best. All CarQuest parts are guaranteed, and there are more than 3,000 CarQuest stores with every part you can think of.
Relax. It's done. Did you get the car fixed, kid?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get the parts?
CarQuest?
Welcome to the pros, kid.
Ford Credit and Ford Division announced the Great Percent Event, reducing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months, or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 of America's most popular 96 Ford cars and trucks, including Taurus, Contour, Windstar, Escort, Ranger, and more. The Great Percent Event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Spend a small part of their day at a BP station. We make it easy to breeze in, get what you need, and be gone. Because even though we're BP, we understand that the best part of life is not when you're stopped at a gas station. BP, we keep you moving.
Wake Forest leading North Carolina 24-15. And ACC action coming up Tuesday night from Littlejohn. Greg Buckner and the Tigers get set for the invasion of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A red-hot ball club in ACC play. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the station in your area for Tech and Clemson. Earlier today in the ACC, Clemson was a loser at home. And that came against the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. A great win today for Les Robinson.
A tremendous win, and I'm sure all the Wolfpack fans breathe a sigh of relief.
And Georgia Tech by 21 over the Seminoles.
NC State doing it down at Clemson, where Wake Forest, battling for first place, could not.
Zwicker, nothing in the paint today for the Tar Heels. Only 4 points. Meanwhile, the Deacons have a dozen inside. Make it 14 as Duncan rolls home his 10-point.
The Deacons have had 27 possessions. Duncan's had 11 touches, but only 5 in the paint. And I'm sure out of that timeout, Dave Odom said, hey, big fella, get down in there where they can't handle you.
McGinnis counted. And the foul on Braswell, his second.
Right now, McGinnis is the offense. He is the only factor in breaking down the Deacon defense. Here's that spin move, off balance, fall away. Braswell couldn't have played much better defense. McGinnis just made the tough shot.
The Tar Heels leading scorer at 15.6 per game finishes off the three-point play. 26-18.
His assist ratio, too, is phenomenal. 2.3 to 1. Heels are zone. A lot of teams fall into a trap of shooting a quick three against that zone, and they pay dearly.
And McGinnis, bad pass by Perrault. Williams is able to handle it. And look at Rutland's quick hands. Out of bounds, last touch by Williams, and it belongs to Wake Forest. One of the few times it looked like Carolina was going to be able to get an easy basket. And the quick hands of Tony Rutland denied the opportunity.
Floor burns abound.
Stephen Goolsby, the sophomore from Marietta, Georgia, now in the game for the Deacons. 26-18 Wake Forest and 2:25 to play in the first half.
Even though the score is relatively low, the pace has been frantic. Zwicker again resting, and the Heels go in zone with the smaller lineup.
And the tension level extreme. Goolsby for three. That's just his second ACC three-pointer. Jamison, that's a Duncan block and retrieval. Rutland ahead to the trailing Duncan. He can hit a three. Yes, he is. Rutland will take the three and in and out.
That was a good look, and the big fella had a chance to get on the offensive board.
McGinnis. Okalaja.
Braswell on that board. Boy, is he strong.
Wake wants a 20. And Dave Odom gets it right here with 1:29 remaining in the first half. The Deacons leading 29-18. Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the 96 Olympics, presents this Olympic Salute to Excellence question. What athlete won gold medals in both platform and springboard diving in 2 consecutive Olympic Games? We'll have the answer a little bit later, but it was not Bucky Wallace.
No, it wasn't. And neither was I the most valuable player in the first ACC TV game that was played between these 2 teams in 1955. And it had a radius of 50 miles. And there was concern because the attendance over at Duke was down 2,000. They were afraid television might ruin the league.
Yeah. Look at Duncan. Against Carolina last year, Bucky, absolutely sensational. The game here against Rasheed Wallace, he was phenomenal.
Well, you have to put that in perspective. It's against Stackhouse and Wallace and Donald Williams, and personnel-wise, a much stronger team.
Jamison with help. Perrault gets the shot away, and Okalaja rebounds. McGinnis a running 3. Nope. Tipped out. Duncan controls it. Good hands again by Rutland.
The Deacons are having a hard time sustaining the attempt at up-tempo or quick strike for so many years, especially with Randolph Childress, who really didn't want to be a middleman on the break. He didn't want to run. He's much more comfortable in the half court.
Perrault misses the 3. Offensive rebound for Goolsby. Braswell faking. Inside to Perrault. Off the leg of Calabria and out of bounds. Wake ball with 28 seconds on the shot clock. 33-7 on the game clock.
Perrault having a hard time when he's bumped in there. Just not passing well, not shooting well. Doesn't seem to like the physical nature of the Carolina play.
Shamon Williams and Serge Zwicker back in for the Heels. Calabria and Jamison go out. Tim Duncan. Way out to Braswell. The Deeks set it up. Rutledge breaks the 5-second count by starting the dribble. The double team comes. The dish to Braswell. Jerry gets a little closer and nails it.
Boy. Dean wants 20-second timeout. Remember his great fetish for preserving timeouts and not calling him in the first half? He has a great answer. He says, hey, you can't save them, so I'm going to use them. The great innovator, and he's got his hands full today. As a point of interest, there are no rules this year in the ACC as far as solid things to book. But neither team who has led at the half has lost.
Our Nations Bank question again. The gentleman who is winning gold in 2 consecutive Olympics, and the answer is Greg Louganis. Dave Odom's gritty defense has limited this high-scoring North Carolina outfit to 18 points. Now, the Tar Heels, Bucky, have 5.9 with which to work. Let's see if McGinnis can make it happen. He has to get rid of it. And the 3-pointer, no good by Shamon Williams, and the first half is history. A most impressive first half for Dave Odom's Demon Deacons. They walk off the floor in Chapel Hill leading.
Up. Here's that McGinnis power move to the paint, that time going over Jerry Braswell, who did the absolute best job of defending him.
Here are the first half numbers, the 9 turnovers for North Carolina. That's certainly a trouble spot for North Carolina, but what can Dean Smith and the Tar Heels hope to accomplish offensively here in the second half to change the tone?
Well, the old Dean Smith teams would trap and run and jump and create upper tempo. He's only got 7 bodies, and he doesn't have that kind of speed. I think he's going to gamble to pack it in and hope Wake will get careless and miss with their threes, but I don't expect him to fall into that trap.
The second half, we come back with the Deacons leading 32-18.
Design and engineering. For us in the Chrysler brand, that's one word.
play for a team in the NBA, taking it downtown, crashing the boards. With DirecTV's NBA Team Pass, at least I can follow any team. Or I can give it the full court press, NBA League Pass. Every team, the Magic, Knicks, Rockets, Suns, up to 30 great matchups every week. Yeah, I could be out there with those guys. Really, I could. You won't find the NBA like this on cable, so call 1-800-DIRECTV.
If you've been watching ACC basketball for the past 12 years, maybe you remember some of these scenes. Sometimes I wonder how they talk me into doing that. Making these commercials has been a fun way of telling you about Food Lion, our commitment to extra low prices, guaranteed freshness, and top quality products. So visit a Food Lion soon. Chances are in just 1 week, you'll save enough money to buy, perhaps, an ACC ticket.
Excuse me, sir. I think you're in my seat.
Maybe not.
Food Lion, extra low prices and more.
Advance Auto Parts presents part number 12, the hand. A remarkable part of every Advance Auto Parts salesperson, the hand can grasp any automotive situation.
My car goes...
Instantly, the hand tests the electrical system, removes the dead battery, and with free installation, puts in a new Autograph battery. All you have to do is shake part number 12. Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Discus Athletic, by DirecTV, by Nationwide Insurance, by Chrysler, by Advance Auto Parts, and by Budweiser.
If recent history is any indicator, the Deacs are in pretty good shape. When leading at the half, Wake Forest is unbeaten this year, and they're up 32-18. And conversely, when the Tar Heels are trailing at halftime, they're in tough shape. 1-4 went down at the half. Bucky, if indeed Carolina packs it in against Wake, you look at that first half stat sheet, 5 different Deacons hit three-pointers in that first half. And one of the things here on our point distribution for the Tar Heels, nothing up front. Carter, Jamison, Okalaja not generating any offense.
And it's all due to the pressure on the guards. Normally, McGinnis and Calabria create for those guys, and they've been unable to do it.
Ricky Parole out of the locker room and into the scorebook with a three-pointer.
But again, it was a very quick three. And I think Dave Odom doesn't want to get tentative, but he'd like to keep these Tar Heels on defense. There's only 7 of them, and make them work.
A 17-point lead for the Deacs, biggest of the day. Nice cross. And Carter scores. What a feed from McGinnis.
First possession tells a lot. After a timeout, after the half, the Deacons trying to, the Heels trying to establish something down inside. As you pointed out, they've got nothing from the front court. Duncan really not a smart foul that time.
Second personal on Tim. And that three-point play offsets the Parole three. Where we stood at halftime, 14-point spread. Parole, nice fade away. Didn't get the roll. Allen the offensive rebound. He puts it in. Tough shot for the Raleigh Jr.
Deacons not only playing a smothering, suffocating defense, they're coming alive on that offensive board, and not just Duncan.
Antoine Jamison. Well, the forwards are starting to pick it up.
Yeah, well, 2 things shouldn't begin early. Autopsies and betting against Carolina while there's still a lot of time on the clock. Watch them. They won't panic. They'll peck their way back.
Zwicker and Duncan in a leaning contest in the paint.
I'll bet on Zwicker.
Out to Parole, beats Jamison, and with 6 on the shot clock, puts it in. Ricky's got 8, and the Deacons up 16.
Boy, he gives matchup problems. Parole does to most every team. Carolina, no exception.
Saban.
Zwicker sporting a perforated ear thanks to an elbow in Charlottesville that has not affected his play.
McGinnis kicks it out to Calabria. Rutland is right there on him, and Calabria throws it away. And McGinnis telling his backcourt partner to calm down. 17:40 remaining in the ball game. Deacons 39, Tar Heels 23.
Much of this crowd standing. I mean, they're just waiting to get into this game. And the Deacons won't let them.
Braswell, Carter on him. Here's Rutland. The dump down to Duncan. Up and in. Just unstoppable down that close to the basket.
He can come back to the middle, but right there's a whole bunch of white jerseys waiting for him, and that little baby hook to the baseline is unstoppable. The only downside of it, it takes him off the offensive board. It's still the best way to force him.
Vince Carter was 7.
Right now they're just exchanging baskets, and that's not good enough for the Tar Heels. But it's a start.
Back to Tony. Shot clock at 12 for all. Now Duncan moves in, and that's a foul. Tim hits the deck as the foul goes inside. Frank Scagliotta says it's going to be on Jamison, and that will be his third.
There's that dimension of quickness that Tim Duncan has. Puts the ball on the floor and eats up enormous real estate. He was mid-baseline, and with one dribble, he's in the paint.
Duncan had 25 in this building last year. You see his numbers today. A little short with that one.
That was an extraordinary game last year. Rasheed Wallace, now in the NBA, shut out from the floor. Only 4 free throws in that game, as the Deacons got one here, but then reciprocated when they went back to Winston-Salem. The Heels won.
Duncan misses 2 free throws. Wake Forest is 1 of 7 at the line.
I'm glad I pointed out that they were leading the league in free throw shooting. No, I didn't jinx them.
Your timing is impeachable. Here's a foul on Braswell, and that will be Jerry's third, and that's certainly something to keep in the back of your mind. We've got a long way to go. 16-21.
Over here. Because I guarantee you McGinnis is going to be coming down that lane the entire second half, and he can wear people out.
Inside Zwicker, up and off. Jamison, an offensive stick back, and a foul on Allen. No doubt Dean Smith had to talk at halftime for Carter and Jamison to get more aggressive.
All they got to do is get it in that front line, get it on the board. Give the Jamisons and the Zwickers a chance. All of their problems have come because the guards have been shut down, and they really just kind of stood and looked. They had nothing going toward the glass. The Heels, just extraordinary offensive rebounding team. And part of that is because McGinnis penetrates, shoots short jump shots that are easy to rebound, and Calabria, everything he shoots is a soft offensive rebounding potential.
Carolina scored 9 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. They've scored 10 here to start the second half in 4 minutes. And McGinnis for the steal. The Smith Center is on the verge of erupting. Carter out front to McGinnis. Wheels on Rutland. Takes him to the paint. The dish to Zwicker. Oh, Jamison.
Antoine Jamison speared that ball between 2 Deacons and had it back in.
Zwicker limping.
Quickness.
McGinnis now up off the deck. Serge may have twisted an ankle. Boy, it's been that kind of a day. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser.
It may seem like a funny analogy, but building the Chrysler Cirrus was a lot like making a movie. We produced it, released it to a critical audience, and waited for the reviews. Car and Driver called Cirrus the new benchmark for compact sedans. Automobile Magazine raved about its brilliant styling and excellent handling. Motor Trend said it's the most significant vehicle in the market. Cirrus has received great reviews and a lot of awards, but that's no surprise, considering its performance.
Advance Auto Parts presents part number 23, the foot. Advance Auto Parts salespeople come equipped with 2 feet capable of propelling them out the door to your car.
Seems like I'm feeling every bump in the road.
Step by step, your car is inspected. With your problem understood, it's just a short walk back to the parts department. At Advance Auto Parts, no one sits around on part number 41. Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Tough enough, Bucky, to go against that Wake defense, but then you bang into your own guys. It really is tough.
I guarantee you the Heels are very anxious to get to that offensive board. Antoine Jameson with a great stick back. And McGinnis gets run over by his own team. But that just shows you what confidence McGinnis has as a guard to be down in there on the offensive board. That's why the Deacons still have to look up the floor and not let all 5 of the Heels come at them on the offensive glass.
Quite a turnaround for the Tar Heels here in the second half. Wake's been hot. Deacons still have an 11-point lead. All 12 of Carolina's second half points from the freshman forwards, Carter and Jameson. 41-30, the Deacons. And they throw it away. Carter and Allen intercepts. Well, Vince tried to make something happen that really wasn't there that time. Kicked out of bounds by McGinnis.
Elijah now on Duncan. That's the best matchup Dean has at his disposal. Even though he's a freshman, he's very mature, very physical.
Duncan down the lane to Sean Allen. A great block by Carter. Oh, my. McGinnis spinning, shooting, and missing in and out. Oh, this Tar Heel crowd is ready to explode. The Tar Heels just couldn't get that one to go.
Yeah, but the momentum is definitely turned right now, and it's coming from the defensive end. The Tar Heels playing terrific man-for-man defense have taken the Deacons right out of their offensive set. Nobody's rotating to the ball.
Duncan, finger rolls. 14 for the big fella.
He didn't have a passing lane that time. It was almost like, you know, the reluctant giant. He was forced to make a play to the hoop, and he's so talented, he just did it.
Okalaja tries it, and Duncan there to smother it.
Better. I don't know if they do many pump fakes in Berlin, Germany, but here's Duncan at the other end with the whirling move on Okalaja. Okalaja tried to return the favor at the other end, and it ended up about 10 rows.
Johnson in and out for 3. Jameson an offensive rebound. Frank Scagliano waves it off. A foul before the shot on Rusty LaRue, his 3rd.
We've been saying all afternoon, it's not what defense you start in, it's one that you can limit the opponent to 1 shot. The offensive boards are really coming into play, and so is the foul situation for the Deacons with any of the potential perimeter guys who can contain McGinnis.
Zwicker for Carter. Braswell and LaRue have 3 fouls apiece for the Deeks. Braswell on the bench, and a foul on Jameson for the push-off. He put both forearms right into the chest of Parole. And Antoine Jameson with 4 personal fouls. Only 1 North Carolina player this year is fouled out of a game. That was Okalaja earlier this year. Now Jameson is in danger of fouling out, and they could ill afford to lose that young man.
However, the Heels are staying man for man.
Rutland put a good move on McGinnis. And Mr. Duncan has his 3rd. Duncan, Braswell, and LaRue now with 3 each for Dave Odom. And 13:35 left.
That's a foul Dave Odom can live with, though. When your big man gets a foul going to the offensive board, that goes with the territory, but not those little cheap touches and moving screens.
McGinnis drives on LaRue. Duncan keeps it alive and claims it.
The heels just cleared out to give McGinnis a clear side with LaRue. That's a tough matchup for Russell.
Looks like the Deacons have weathered the emotional storm.
Well, one of the things, again, with Carolina having only 7 players, these comebacks take a lot out of you. Plus, the Deacons have been stressing the quicker tempo. And all of this, if the theory is right, should add up for the Deacons in the last 7 or 8 minutes.
The Wake lead at 13. Here's Calabria kicking it out to Okulaja for 3. 10-point game.
Calabria under control, great penetration, terrific pass. Okulaja didn't have to do anything but catch it on his chest and release.
The shot clock at 13. LaRue gets a screen, feeds Rutland, goes baseline. Tony intercepted by Calabria. McGinnis for 3. Jamison the offensive rebound. Jackson right on him and he puts it in.
Wake Forest needs to find Duncan quickly.
And Dave Odom's going to talk about it. The Deacons take a 20. The lead, which was at 1.17, has been sliced to 8 with 11:51 left. It's time now for our Smart Play of the Week, and the honors go to the Clemson defense, which held Tim Duncan and Wake Forest to only 41 points last Sunday. Harold Jamison and the other Tigers watched this great defensive work here, keeping Duncan away from the hoop, and they defended the outlet passes so well it caused the Deacons to shoot just 33%, their second worst shooting percentage of the season. Marvelous defensive effort as Clemson won that game. Look at the defense by Jackson. And Jamison just up and in. But
yeah, well, he has to play so tentatively now that he has 4 fouls.
You're right.
Oh, and a Barracuda. Don't you love to see him go get the basketball? Absolutely fearless.
Carter is in. And Jamison is out for the Tar Heels. And now Wake brings it up.
Big test for Rutland here as the point guard. Randolph Childress is gone. And this is a hostile environment.
Perall turns and fires. Ricky Perall, who's been AWOL in a couple of Deacon games, has scored 10 today.
And the big fella from Spain just gave lockjaw to 23,000 people. It's like turning off the volume.
Shammond Williams going baseline. And Okulaja travels. That will give it right back to the Deacons. And a timeout on the floor in Chapel Hill. 11:16 left. Wake Forest 45-35. We'll return after this message from Continental, the official airline of the ACC.
At Continental, we've been listening to you. And you can see the changes. Something new here. A renewed sense of pride there. And lately, we've become among the best in the business at handling your baggage and getting you to your destination on time. So fly us again and see the changes for yourself.
Grandpa, do you remember your first Pepsi?
1926 at Homer's General Store. Pepsi number 2, cheap seats. Wrigley Field. Pepsi 812, the stock market crash. Pepsi 3922, spam was invented. 14,030, your dad repeated 3rd grade. And this is Pepsi 21,004, Kathy.
Kelly.
Kelly?
Kelly.
I knew that. I think I knew that.
The new Chrysler Sebring was built upon something called the Goldilocks principle.
It occurred to us that while most luxury cars were too big, most sport coupes were too small. We wanted the Sebring to be, well, just right.
It not only has a sporty 24-valve engine and a race-inspired suspension, but it also gives you the luxury of an actual back seat.
Which means there's enough room for Goldilocks and 3 or 4 of her friends.
Back at Chapel Hill, the announcers for this game selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. Tim Duncan with 14 today, and you see as we break down the Wake possessions and how many times he can get his hands on it, and Serge Wicker doing all he can to try to deny Duncan the basketball. Bucky, both clubs are shooting so much better here in the second half. Deke 6 of 10, Carolina 7 of 15. The question is why?
Well, I think the defense for UNC has really improved. It's gotten them better looks. And the reason they've got 5 more shots than Wake Forest is they finally cut through, eliminated the turnovers, and they're getting the ball on the board, which enters Jamison into play.
Rutland trying to use that high screen. Gets it inside to Duncan, and he lays it home.
Serge Wicker that time trying to front Duncan, and that's questionable strategy. He's better off behind him, making the big fella shoot over him. I don't think he's got the foot speed to get out there and match in the deny.
And Rutland steps into the passing lane to pick it off. Tony will take it to the bucket, flips it in, and it's a charging foul on Rutland. Dave Odom can't believe it. I had the chance to get into insurance.
The coach of the year 3 of the last 5 years, and he's also a pretty good actor. That's definitely contact, and Rutland left the floor. The Wake fast break was too close together. No spacing, and Dante Calabria could play both of them, and he did.
McGinnis. Jeff with 11.
Well, Braswell now has 3 fouls. He's not quite as physical defending McGinnis at the top of the key. Wake shooting 60% in the second half. It's not like they've gone away. It's just Carolina's surged.
Braswell off the hands of Perall into the hands of McGinnis. Calabria off the glass.
Guard penetration by both McGinnis and Calabria, really keying this comeback. Those 2 guys in the backcourt are a handful, and they can kill you a lot of ways. The Carolina defense now has forced Wake a lot further out than they were in the first half.
Braswell, 1-3, air balls it, Tar Heel ball.
Duncan has lots to say to Braswell. That shot was about 2.5 to 3 strides beyond the 3-point arc. And the big fella said, hey, you give it to me, let me get a few assists here.
Tar Heels down 8. In the middle, Okalaja. Nice dish, and Jamison lays it in.
Dave Odom has gone to a zone. It's just not working. There's no pressure on the ball. And the Tar Heels now are picking apart the pride of Wake Forest, which is their half-court defense.
McGinnis up on Rutland. The give and go to LaRue. Rusty baseline. Okalaja shuts him off. Into Duncan. 3 white shirts around him, and Zwicker fouled him.
Serge Zwicker has got to take baseline away and force back where he can get help. Great passing that time. The Heels finding those spots underneath. Jamison to finish. I don't think, even with the foul problems that are mounting, that Dave Odom is going to stay in that zone long. His signature, half-court man for man, and I think he's got to go with it with 8:25 left.
Tim O for 2 at the line today. Puts home point number 17. He's an 80% foul shooter in ACC play. Carter coming in for Zwicker, and Sean Allen replaces Braswell for the Deacs.
Carolina's only committed 3 fouls this half, and they are playing very aggressively.
But the one young man with 4 that stands out, of course, Bucky, is Jameson. 18 for Tim Duncan. 8-point lead for the Deacs.
Wake Forest trying to match up in a zone now. The Heels have been shredding it.
Ooh, 1-3-1 action, looks like.
Well, it's a matchup.
McGinnis. 4-3. His first 3-pointer of the day. 5-point Wake Forest lead. Parole for 3, in and out. And Allen committing the foul.
Bob, when Duncan has the ball, there just isn't any movement outside. They're forcing Tim Duncan to make a move from 12 feet from the basket or pass to guys who really aren't spotting up. Parole shot that ball almost as an afterthought.
Ademola Okalaja to the line. A 71% foul shooter this season.
The whole difference in the second half, although people will point to the shooting statistics, has been the intensity of the Carolina defense. They've taken Wake Forest out of their rhythm.
A big miss, a front end of a 1-and-1. All the free throws precious now. 49-44, 7:26 left in the ballgame. Parole takes it. Misses it. Duncan has position and stuffs it.
If you're a Wake Forest fan, that looks a lot better than Duncan on the perimeter. Carolina really doesn't have an answer for him under there.
Tim, right place, right time for that dunk follow. Jameson. Okalaja crashing. Loose ball. LaRue got a hand on it. Now out to Calabria. His second 3 today makes it a 4-point ball game.
Oh, this crowd's got their second win, too. They had a lot of rest in the first half.
Time to let it all hang out. LaRue needs help and finds it in Allen.
Carolina has worked awfully hard, and they've come a long way. They may hit a little plateau here and hit the wall, as the runners say. But right now, their defense is inspired.
And the shot clock, big concern. LaRue lets it flop. Maybe the crowd will give him that extra boost of adrenaline. Calabria inside, trying to reverse it. Tony Rutland brings it over the timeline and calls timeout. The Tar Heels up off the deck. Down 17. They've sliced it to 2 with 5:43 to play.
Advance Auto Parts presents part number 5, the ear. Ingeniously designed to capture sound waves, the ear allows Advance Auto Parts salespeople to hear every word you say.
I put coolant in the radiator, but it still overheats.
The more you talk, the more they listen. Hearing your problems out is how they figure the problem out. Only then do they use part number 9.
Sounds like the thermostat.
Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
A car engine has as little as 1/1000th of an inch of motor oil protecting its parts. But friction and heat can make motor oil become volatile and vaporize. weakening its ability to protect vital parts. Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility, fight vaporization, and provide complete engine protection, no matter what you drive.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Good morning. Yeah, how was that night shift? I'll give you a call tomorrow. Yeah, it's Jay. What do you mean you're sleeping? Mom, it's Jay.
The Bell South Phone Your Way to the Olympic Games sweepstakes.
So what are you, like a half-hour drive from here?
The more local toll calls you make with Bell South, the greater your chances of winning.
Hey, Randy, wake up! Chadwick High. You didn't go to Chadwick High?
So keep on calling.
Can I call you tonight, or? All right, 2 weeks it is. I'm calling you in 2 weeks.
Bob Rathman with Bucky Waters. Buck, a couple of great plays. This the Duncan stuff follow.
The big fella right underneath. One of the few times that three-point shot has been rebounded close. Look at the guards. McGinnis, Calabria, and they make the freshman Vince Carter look good with a swooping move underneath. But again, it was the Carolina guards that made that play. McGinnis penetration to Calabria, who made the extra pass. And not only that, they have completely shut down the Wake guards in the second half. 0 for 5 are the Wake guards against McGinnis and Calabria.
This is the closest it's been since it was 10-9 Wake early in the half. Duncan spins it in. That's basket interference on the Tar Heels, but that would have gone anyway. 22 for Duncan now, and the Dig lead is 4. Not a bad play. Come out of the timeout, say, you know, number 21, why don't you get it to him?
Yeah, that's called button-pushing coaching. But they made it work.
Why, it's the crowd for an instant. Now McGinnis goes to work on LaRue.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup. LaRue has 3 fouls, and McGinnis has the quicks on him. But what a heart LaRue has.
Short. Duncan keeps it alive and secures the rebound, his 10th. So another double-double for Tim Duncan, his 12th of the season.
I don't think there's any doubt where that ball should be going right now. The Deacons ought to be running a little offense, keeping the Heels, who are a little bit tired. They're not quite as intense defensively now coming out of that timeout, even after the rest. That comeback has taken a lot out of these 7 guys. I think the crowd's got them going on a lot of adrenaline.
LaRue out of the corner as the shot clock hits 2. McGinnis blocked on his way to the bucket. And it's going to be on Rusty LaRue. That will be his 4th. 4:20 to play.
4:20, 4 points. When 2 teams are battling for first place in the ACC, this is what you expect. Dave Odom has been there, done that.
So now Jeff McGinnis shooting 1-1. Jeff is 3 of 3 at the line today. And the point that you made also, Bucky, about the team foul situation, Carolina with only 3, so it will take a while on common fouls for the Digs to get to the free throw line. And as a club, they don't go that often. They're last in the ACC in free throws attempted and made.
Wake Forest, which leads the league in free throw percentage, may not get to play that card. Out of the free throw, one of Dean's favorites, the trap, the run and jump. He'd love to do it more. He just doesn't have enough bodies.
Ricky Pearl loads up a rainbow 3. Way off mark, but there's Tony Rutland. Now, he got hammered, but what a great turn of events for Wake. A terrible shot by Pearl, and it ends up in Rutland's hands.
I just can't believe Pearl not only took this shot that quickly, but, I mean, that was wide left. Must have been a holder. Had to be. The snap was bad. I mean, it's great to have confidence. Most coaches would rather have a few bad shots a game that are taken with confidence than having so much control over them that every shot they take, they're looking over their shoulder. But that was clearly, you said terrible. I would just agree with that.
Tony Rutland with 4. 78% are at the line in ACC play. Goes 1 for 2, and Jamison with yet another rebound for the Tar Heels. That's his 13th.
by relying on three-point shots as well. Wake makes a tough rebounding situation for Duncan. They tend to come further out, and he's got that net right over his head like a halo.
Quick shot for Carter. Vince had 2 at the half. He's got 11 now.
Heels are down 1. If they get the lead, this whole building of a few years, they have to withstand a tremendous force. This crowd's ready.
Duncan, foul. Just manhandled in there by Okalaja. It'll be his first.
What a second half Okalaja's had. Heinrich Rodel, who discovered him in Berlin, he should get a finder's fee.
Timeout at Chapel Hill. And we'll be back after this message from Budweiser.
Why? 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 Why?
Tylenol was always around, so I always used it. I mean, you know, for all the things that you use Tylenol for. But my mother said she's always giving out medical advice. She said to relieve headaches, you should take Excedrin. It's better than Tylenol. She was right. Major bonding experience with Mom. I mean, plus, I got something that's better for headaches. I mean, what more could you want out of life?
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Mom, yeah, it's Jay. Paulie, it's Jay. Hi, yeah, it's Jay. It's Jay Helmer. It's Sis.
Introducing Bell South's Phone Your Way to the Olympic Games sweepstakes.
What I was wondering... Hello?
As a proud sponsor, we're giving away trips to the 1996 Games.
I'm only a few towns away.
The more local toll calls you make with Bell South, the greater your chances.
I'm going to call you every day for like a week.
So call everyone you know.
I like your show. I don't really have a question for the guest or anything, but I'll call back when I think of one.
Another Tobacco Road Classic on the Ray Common Jefferson Pilot Sports Network today from Chapel Hill. Old rivals Wake Forest and North Carolina. A one-point game with 3:25 remaining. Never easy for a road club to win at Chapel Hill. Trying to beat this guy in this building or in the city of Chapel Hill, almost impossible. Of the 32 losses, the average margin of defeat's only 7.5 points. So even when you get him, you don't get him by much.
Beating Dean in here is tougher than beating Dracula in Transylvania at night. The big fella, 5 for 5 in the second half. He's got to handle the ball. Wake should be keeping Carolina on the D. They don't need a quick trigger now. Jamon Williams now on Rutland.
And Carter, little tardy, trying to catch up, fouls Perrault. Vince with his first personal. That gives Wake Forest a new 35 and 3:08 left in the ballgame.
Looking at the foul situation at 3:08 to go. Duncan with 3, Braswell 3, LaRue 4, Allen 3 for Wake Forest. Jamison with 4, the only one in trouble for the Tar Heels. Carolina now at 6 fouls, so Wake would go in the bonus on the future. Wake has committed 8. Carolina trying to zone.
Perrault gets it into Allen. Back out to LaRue, to Rutland. Good ball movement for the Deeks. Rutland offline. Carolina could take the lead. The biggest Wake advantage was 18. Calabria faking, driving. Okalaja, the standalone 3 to give the Tar Heels the lead.
Guard penetration, great passing. Dante Calabria, what a player.
2:10 left. Perrault into Duncan. Calabria comes the double. Near steal by Williams. Rutland penetrates. Back out to Perrault. Ricky stops. Here's Rutland faking. Shot clock under 10. Great Carolina defense right here. Now Rutland a long three. Bang!
Oh, what a huge three that was.
57-56. The Deacs back in front. McGinnis driving. Up over Duncan. No. Williams the rebound. Jamison. Short. And Allen rebounds. Can he save it? Yes. LaRue out to Rutland. Great action. Steal by Carolina.
Two dangerous passes by Wake, and then Carolina finally stole it off the dribble.
Deacs by a point. We've got a minute 13 left. McGinnis up and in. The floater goes.
Rutland being abused defensively by McGinnis. He's just taking him anywhere he wants to go.
58-57 Carolina with 57.3 left and a timeout on the floor. We'll continue after this word from the ACC.
I met Jason when I was a junior at Carolina. In the 9 short months before he died of cancer, he taught me what really matters.
Eric Montross is back in Chapel Hill for this Father's Day camp, benefiting the Jason Clark Fund at North Carolina Children's Hospital. At UNC, Eric grew to value helping people. As volunteers, he and student athletes help United Way strengthen families and young people, mending the fabric of our society. It's ACC and United Way, reaching out to our community.
On behalf of the institutions of the Atlantic Coast Conference, I would like to recognize our official corporate partners. The long-term commitment of these outstanding companies provides direct support to our athletic departments. ACC schools compete for championships in 23 sports and provide scholarship opportunities for over 2,500 student athletes each year. Significant resources are also provided to assist in a variety of community outreach programs. We are proud to salute the ACC corporate partner family.
Carolina by a point. Wake ball with 57-3 left. This is the shot that gave Carolina the lead.
Rutland absolutely nowhere to be found on that penetration. Dave Odom wants in charge here at the end of it.
And Duncan just couldn't get to it.
Goes for the skyjack, but he's just a little short, and there's a no call on the collision. Duncan only 9 touches for the entire game in the lane. He's been 5 for 5 in the second half, but I credit the Carolina defense. They have so pressured the perimeter players for Wake Forest that they've taken them right out of their rhythm, and they've forgotten about the franchise.
Not since the Blue Devils in 88-89 has a road team won here back-to-back years. Wake trying to do it, but they're down a point. Rusty LaRue gets it into Duncan.
Wake looking very tentative right now.
The Deacons have 1 timeout remaining. They've already used their second half 20. Carolina with all 3 timeouts and a 20. Okalaja coming around. Duncan fouls it.
Duncan has got to come meet the pass. He's got to get more aggressive. Without Serge Zwicker on the floor, all the Tar Heels have to combat him is quickness and denial, and they're making every effort to get in front. And he starts his move toward the hoop, especially when the pass is belt high. He's opening the floodgates for the Carolina quickness.
North Carolina uses its 22nd second half timeout here as Tim Duncan moves to the foul line. Duncan at the line today is 2 of 4, but the Deacs overall have struggled. 4 of 11. Dave Odom going over several things here. Of course, what to do when the ball is going the other way. And what he hopes will be successful free throws for Duncan.
Bob, he's really got a set of defense at the other end. He might want to go zone, depending on whether he's got the lead or not, but he's got to contain maybe even Ricky Peral on a McGinnis at the point, something with his size to stop that guard penetration. It's just absolutely hemorrhaging as far as the defense for the Wake.
There's our game reset. The arrow favors the Tar Heels. Duncan, 1-and-1.
Dave Odom wants a walk on the fall. Unless he dribbled, it should be a walk. You can't catch it and lay down without moving that pivot foot. Jamison, I guess they're saying, didn't really have possession. He just kind of let it roll out of his hand. And the Tar Heels, who have been much quicker to the ball in the second half, picked it up.
McGinnis, 1-1, perfect at the line today. Carolina by 2, 38.4 remaining.
Big difference if you're defending 3 or 2 at the other end.
Now they have to defend a 3.
That's okay. They can go down inside and get 2 and come back with another possession. They don't really need 3 on this one.
Rutland's going to take it and miss it. Rebound to the Tar Heels. Carter fouled with 22.8.
What a comeback.
Down 18 were the Tar Heels.
And with the limited bench, not with a deep bench to lay siege for the final 20 minutes.
Rusty LaRue fouled out of the game. Now Frank Scagliotta and Steve Gordon to the scorers table just to make sure it was on Rusty, because they lose with his 5th foul, a terrific 3-point shooter. The question at the table now is overtime remaining. And 2 seconds on the clock. Dave Odom now is going back to the Wake bench, being escorted by Mr. Scagliotta, unhappy with what he was hearing from the table.
I think there might be a question of whether that's the 10th foul or not. Big difference if you got 2 free throws up there or a 1-and-1.
The scoreboard inside the Smith Center shows 9 team fouls on Wake and 5 on LaRue. And it will be a 1-and-1 if it is indeed 9 fouls, and I think that's what Rick Hartzell and Frank Scagliotta are saying. Now Dave Odom is going to put Braswell and Goolsby in the ballgame.
Now Dean Smith's upset. He wants 2 shots. Now it's 10.
Now the scoreboard inside the Smith Center shows 10 team fouls. And that will give Carter 2 throws.
A very slow trigger finger on the scoreboard operator, causing consternation among both coaches.
Now it's a 2-possession game. Terrific second half for Carter and Jamison. They were pretty much silent in that first half. Carolina's 10 of 11 at the line. Rebound to Parole.
Wake doesn't need a 3, but they need a score real quick and a quick foul.
And Rutland will scoop it up and in. Timeout Deeks. 2-point game with 15-6. Rutland seizing the opportunity. Took it right to the bucket.
Well, it appeared that Carolina just very concerned about stopping that clock and committing a foul. No one put a body on him. It's one of the few times anybody went to the basket in the second half for Wake Forest. This is a bold move right here. Rutland, who had people go by him most of the afternoon, mostly McGinnis at the top of the key, says turn around and turnabout is fair play.
Wake now is out of timeouts. They've used all 3 plus their second half 20. Coming up Tuesday night at 8 p.m., Georgia Tech will be visiting Clemson. The Yellow Jackets' Drew Barry looking for a 3rd straight ACC assist title, while the young and hungry Tigers claw around for a little more respect. That's coming up on Tuesday at 8 p.m. on the Raycom Jefferson Pilot Network. The winner of this one to tie Georgia Tech for the lead in the ACC. And the Tar Heels with a 2-point lead and the ball and 15-6 remaining.
Wake will quickly try to make the steal, a legitimate steal, and then they'll quickly, without fouling, and then they'll quickly make the foul. It'll be a 2-shot foul, and you can bet that McGinnis and Calabria are going to be the two guys handling the ball.
You see the standings as we reach the halfway mark next week.
Duncan had not touched the ball for Wake in the last 6 possessions.
Calabria gets it in, and immediately the foul on Braswell.
Shamon Williams, a great free throw shooter.
In his career at North Carolina, Shamon has hit 83% from the line, which is on pace to challenge Jeff Lebo's all-time Carolina record of 83-9.
And he will have 2 shots because of the 10 fouls committed by Wake Forest or more.
Jamison will come in when time allows. Wake has lost a ton of points at the line today. And Duncan missed that front end of the 1-and-1 moments ago. Key free throw. Here's the Shamon Williams free throw story. This a big one. It would make it a 2-possession game. Got it. 63-59 Tar Heels.
Heels don't want to foul now.
Rutland buys a couple of precious seconds. Braswell driving. Missing. Inside rebound for Jamison. Down to 6. 5 McGinnis. Carter. Oh, my, what a play to end the ball game. Carolina defeats Wake Forest. 65-59. What a ball game.
Who did not score in the first half was an absolute wonderkind in the second half. A little bit of everything. Boards, free throws, coverage.
Carolina